Okay, I'm back. He's talking a lot now about natural time cycles. He says that the Illuminati, which are originally, here's the story he's giving me right now. The Illuminati were born into existence by reptilian worship. They were taught by reptilian masters. They were given what I guess you could call occult knowledge or hidden knowledge of extra-dimensional, interdimensional origins, not necessarily of human origins. Humans have their own spirituality, spiritual paradoxes, and modalities, a lot of which are very close to what I'm doing now, which is the channeling and allowing energies to come through them and to give them knowledge and to even he says even rework DNA in the way that children are born with the qualities of certain earth-based deities, but he says it's not the same as full-on genetic tampering that the reptilians did. The reptilians taught them a lot of how to be predators, spiritual predators, vampires, that sort of thing, because that's their religious base. And that's an unnatural cycle for humans. Humans are much more about banding together, finding community, and gathering food and keeping livestock and domesticating things, where the reptilian mindset is much more about just simply going out, hunting, eating, and then, they don't cultivate their predators. They're far more predator mindset than even humans. Originally, they've really given that to humans. They've given that predator mindset, and so they gave that to the beginnings of who the Illuminati now are, and that whole line that goes way back. The Greys came in about 60, 70 years ago as a race that had kept very, very subtle in its affairs, and now that humanity was at a point where they were awakening to things like atomic power and nuclear energy, that they knew that they could come in and manipulate humanity, give them secrets that they had, and now they had something to bargain with. So they were much more interested in gaining political footing with us than actually slavery. They would love to have all our genetic material given and then have free run on our planet to do whatever genetic experiments they want. The reptilians pretty much just want a slave race that they can cull, eat, humiliate. He says they're actually, Lord Saturn is saying that there is a group of reptilians that really love to rape humans, which, man, that sounds awful. And just wow. So the Illuminati flow through this information. The Illuminati, most are empty shells that reptilian, interdimensional, like we have astral bodies. They have a higher degree of astral body in the negative respect, or a more physical based astral body that can go from living in human hosts and being transferred to one person, to another person, to another person, almost like a generation, and the Illuminati think this is a gift. So most of their high level members don't even have their consciousnesses anymore. They are just passed up meat bags for the reptilians to actually manifest in and host and live through and commit all sorts of atrocities and play their games with. And have political power and things like that. Most of the reptilians that do this come from what's like a royal lineage. They have the big long tails. They look very much like what dragons would look like. Most other reptilians look just kind of like a human and a lizard got together. And there's an actual genetic evolution that they can put another reptilian through to bring them to the royal form, although that is rarely done and only done to gain political power or manipulative social power over another reptilian family. Wow, this is, okay, it's still coming. So, I guess he wants you all to really understand what the reptilian agenda is about, that they're not necessarily interlinked with any other group of aliens, that they are purely out for themselves and in their truest desire see Earth as a gigantic cattle pasture, really, honestly. And so the Illuminati are kind of being torn by reptilian agendas. They are also fully aware of the Greys, and a lot of them have begun channeling trans-Plutonian entities. And so, in a lot of ways, okay, now we're getting to the point of this. They're starting to unravel themselves. It's that they don't necessarily have a clear purpose anymore, other than perhaps domination of the world and massive reduction in population, which is what the reptilians want anyways. But there seems to be like a nouveau riche within the Illuminati, a lot of the major billionaires coming in, seeing the plans put out in front of them, understanding the interdimensional contact, are pretty much horrified by it, because the family lineages of the Rothschilds and Rockefellers really have kind of become the major spoiled brats of the whole thing. They don't do the same work, they don't have the same intelligence as their greater evil sires did. They're kind of like a joke now. Not to say that they're not dangerous, but no one can really take them seriously, and they're more looking at the Illuminati and their giant amount of wealth as something that they want to spend within their lifetimes. They have truly breeded or bred their sociopathic tendencies into their children. And where before they were sociopaths, but they had a clear understanding of what the goal was and would work towards it, nowadays they hardly care about that either. They don't care about you. They would love to watch you suffer as long as they got their money, but they don't necessarily care about continuing on. So there's a lot of corporate entities that are now coming in and saying, we would love to fully take over the earth, and since this template has already been set up, we don't mind stepping up into it and taking it over. The military-industrial complex is certainly one of those. It's a full-on corporate entity that is operating as a gigantic company within the confines that it's a American serving entity, but it's really not. And a lot of those high-level brass has been co-opted and channel reptilian entities commonly, and this is their new way. Now that they're bailing on the old families of the Illuminati, they now need to find a new group. So Lord Saturn is saying that a lot of that new group is within the military-industrial complex, and that the Illuminati itself is actually turning on itself. We'll see how far that goes. I don't really, it's not like they're going to do it to themselves fully, but we can seize that moment of weakness and attack. How do we attack? We get the word out there, and we get everyone to become fully aware. Lord Saturn is saying that anyone who comes to him, he will help remove obstacles in terms of what's preventing them from being healthy, what's preventing them from being more prosperous, what's preventing them from seeing the greater picture. Now, when you're working with Lord Saturn, you must understand that he is about restriction, limitation, cycles. So you need to ask him appropriately, will you please restrict those individuals trying to control me or harm me? Will you please put major obstacles in the way of the Illuminati from figuring out, who we are, or figuring out what to do to prevent this, great flow of information. So you have to work with those types of ideas, either putting an obstacle in front of something or taking an obstacle down. His colors are black. He loves sweet, heavy scents like patchouli. He loves the metal lead. 3 black candles would be great, although black candles don't necessarily really exist. It's more like really, really deep purples, but that's okay too. Saturday, of course, is his day, so if you're going to do any sort of work, try to do it on a Saturday. And his planetary sigil, or his sigil is a planetary symbol of Saturn. He's an immense deity, very large. He's a Titan, actually, I guess, which was an original earthbound. Okay, now he wants me to tell you what a Titan is. A Titan is still a primal earth spirit. So where the Greek pantheon are deities that have great human influence or were born from human souls, Titans are almost like angels in the way that they solely serve the purposes of this physical planet. So angels serve a cosmic principle, Titans serve an earthly principle, but are still immensely powerful and never to be considered weak, because they can exist outside of the earth too. I guess they also fit anything that a physical planet would be created with: time cycles, heat, storms, weather, whatever. All that stuff exists well throughout the universe. So, but they are just, he gets channeled through the earth as a Titan, I guess is what he's trying to tell me. So, he is a powerful deity, but he's not human. So he has never had a human incarnation. So sometimes it's very hard for him to understand human desires. I guess, yes. Okay, that's more of what he's trying to say. So anyone willing to work with him, you have permission to do so. You approach him respectfully, and you tell him that you are very interested in quickly ending the unnatural Illuminati cycle, as well as the unnatural evolution that humans were put through, and that you wish to put major restrictions in front of the power of the military-industrial complex. And as long as you're okay, because he will do this, and he'll also do work for you too, but you must pay him also. So he was greatly valued in his understanding of hard physical labor. So be ready to probably work very hard and sweat, and he will let you know what the payment will be for him working for you. So just to let you know that. Okay, wow, when I channel, things get really rambly, but I really wanted to get that information out there. Yes, that picture is of me, but it's more Lord Saturn than me at that point. I'm just sort of a physical host. Yeah, I guess I'm introducing Lord Saturn, and a very powerful deity, very willing to help, and one that I'm going to be working with here, especially since the Holly King energies are going to be coming through anyways. So, yeah, get back to me.